And what's up, everybody? It's Terminator Juice. Welcome back to Juice Opinions. This is number 28. And yeah, let's talk about the Nintendo fans. We're all hypocrites. Idea that's been going around, or not idea, but you know, the narrative people are trying to spread. And so let's look at it for real. Like, I'm not just gonna dismiss it, yeah, and move on. I want to talk about this because I'm 38 years old. My family history of memory isn't the best, but I don't know why I'm the only one that remembers things. So let's talk about well, you guys, Nintendo fans, gave Sony a hard time. You were criticizing Sony for all the ports and the Last of Us remastered, then you buy Mario Kart 8, hypocrites. So heard that on Live and Level podcast last night from, obviously a Sony fan, and other people saying it, and it's becoming, I don't follow a lot of, like, I'm not subscribed to on YouTube like the next gen 720, the Xbox fanboys, the Sony fanboys, but every once in a while, whether it's a podcast, I see Real Gamer 27's podcast was saying similar things. I didn't get to check that out yet, but so let's talk about this. Like I said, I'm old, but for some reason I feel like I'm the only one who remembers things how they went. So we're Nintendo fans hard on the PS4 and Sony when they announced The Last of Us remastered. Yeah, pretty much. But there's, and this is for me. I'm not speaking for all Nintendo fans as a whole. This is for me. Two things. One, Sony, give me a reason to buy your new system. I already have this game. I had bought it in September of 2013. So 2 months before the PS4 came out. And really love this game. Probably give it probably a 9 out of 10. It's best Sony exclusive I've ever played. Well, right there with Shadow of the Colossus. And yeah, it was a great game, and I enjoyed it. So, Sony, give me a reason to buy the PS4. If you would have made this a dual release, launching on the PS4, also available for PS3, I might have bought a PS4 at launch. I don't know. Definitely wanted this game. Bought it, played it. Actually played through it twice. And yeah, so they didn't do that. They launched it in summer, right before E3 or right after E3 on the PS3, and then the PS4 came out later the year, and then Last of Us Remastered came out. It wasn't quite a year; it was just under a year. And yeah, so for me, Sony, give me a reason to buy your system, and they didn't. That was why I was harping on them. And the big thing that it wasn't just The Last of Us Remastered. That game by itself, no one cared. I mean, there's no way I'm going to look back and find all the podcasts where we talked about it, but I can tell you right now, I always said The Last of Us by itself, that doesn't hurt anybody. But what was the first year's lineup for the PS4? What did it consist of? Knack, Killzone. There's even the most diehard fans of Sony, they're not going to try to defend those games or say they're great. What was it, Gun or whatever that indie game I guess was pretty good. Infamous Second Son came out in February of 2014, if I recall. That was about it. The rest of the lineup was cross-gen PS3 games and ports of PS3 games. So games that released day and date, PS4 and PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and then ports of 8th gen or 7th gen games on the 8th gen. That was the majority of the lineup of PS4. It wasn't just The Last of Us. It wasn't just God of War Remastered being announced. It wasn't Nathan Drake collection being announced. It wasn't, and it's not just Sony. The third-party companies, which is a big part of Sony and Microsoft systems, they're re-releasing definitive editions, remastered editions, and it was just ridiculous. Now, all those things would have been way more acceptable if like Gravity Rush 2 came out in that first year, or Uncharted 4 came out in that first year, you know, to offset. So to me, the biggest, and if you watch, I made a video back in November called "Why Am I Anti-Ports?" question mark, because people kept asking, Nintendo fans a lot and everybody were like, "Oh yeah, you know, whatever, port of Smash, port of Mario Kart, port of Splatoon, that's a great idea," you know. And I was just like, wait a minute, no, it isn't. And then people were like, well, what's wrong with it? So I made a video. It's 40 minutes long. I got the link to the description. I went over many things, including why I'd rather have sequels, why putting out the port and then the sequel does so much better. So why even bring out like the remasters of old games? And it gave a bunch of reasons. And yeah, so if somebody wanted to like come at me for being a hypocrite, you think they'd go to that video, you know, the whole Sony thing. Like I just said, Sony's first year lineup was nothing but PS3 games, either, you know, day and date or old ports, and then a few exclusives that weren't great. Infamous Second Son was what, 8-hour game, 7-hour game, was probably the best one. And then the following year was the Order 1886. It just wasn't a great lineup of games. You take that and then you add all these deluxe editions, all these ports, and it was just too much. And I think if you were even a Sony fan, if you weren't criticizing Sony for that, then I don't know, then there's no reason to even talk, because you're just completely blind to everything. And they deserve that criticism. Absolutely deserved. You know, yeah, there's been, you know, cross-gen games. We've never seen the first 2 years of a system's life be cross-gen games. Call of Duty was still coming out on PS3, Xbox 360 for what, 2-3 years? You know, the next 2 or 3 Call of Duty games that came out. What was it? Ghost, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3. We've never seen cross-gen games like this go 2 years into the new life or new generation. We've never seen that. It was deserved criticism. And being critical of Sony and, you know, Microsoft back then for that, and buying Mario Kart 8 does not make you a hypocrite. Now, like I said, go to my video where I was talking about ports. Okay, if you watch the first few minutes, you're like, oh, T-Juice, gotcha. You said, you know, it's stupid. I hold Nintendo to a higher standard. You can't have ports of Wii U games. Let's have new games, and gave a bunch of reasons why there's new games. But if you kept listening, there's one thing that I said, and I'll point it out. I don't know the exact point of the video, but I said, and let me set this up. This was right around the time of the rumored Smash port, Mario Kart port, Splatoon enhanced port, Mario Maker port, Xenoblade Chronicles X port. We already knew Lego City Undercover, and I don't know if there was another one. I feel like there was maybe one more. And within the first 6 months, this was the Switch's lineup. So that's where I was coming from, which I say it, but it's not like, you got to remember the time, you know, that it happened in, and know the setting to understand where I was coming from. That was the scenario, and that's what I was challenging. But I said, any of these games by themselves, I have no problem with. I said that back in November of 2016, and guess what? There's one port, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's the one I bought. By itself, not a problem. And let me just elaborate further. I also said these teams have had 3 to 4 years, 2 to 4 years to make sequels. I would expect sequels. Splatoon 2 coming out in July within the first 6 months. Mario Odyssey sequel. Xenoblade 2 or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming out this year, a sequel, not a port. We don't know about Smash. I have a feeling Smash is going to be a deluxe. There's going to be a Smash 4 deluxe or something. And I also said these teams should be working on new games. The Mario Kart team, guess what? They worked on ARMS. When's that coming out? In a month. the first 3 months of the Switch's life, the Mario Kart team has a brand new IP, ARMS. That by itself already completely made me feel better about Mario Kart 8, even if it was just a straight port. Hey, they're working on ARMS. Somebody else ported Mario Kart 8. I'm cool with that. As soon as I found that out, now if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is what the Mario Kart team has been working on for the last 3 years, unacceptable. Wouldn't about it. And I still wouldn't about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for full price, no matter what. I got it for $45, but they're working on ARMS, which looks great. The more I see, the more I like that game. Mario Kart 9 is not coming out for a while because they were tasked with a new game. I love that they were tasked with a new game, and because they're very creative and seemed like a great development team, and ARMS looks great. So unless Mario Kart was given to somebody else, we're not going to have Mario Kart 9. You know, I'm sure they've already started on Mario Kart 9. To what extent, I don't know. I'm good to wait. And in the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, I still said I would rather had waited for Mario Kart 9 Holiday 2018 than got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Said that, but guess what? We got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe instead, and I don't think Mario Kart 9 is going to be out till maybe 2019. So why did I buy the game? Well, I finally saw I wasn't going to get it this whole time. I wasn't mad about it. I wasn't mad at it. I just wasn't going to get it. And then I saw the breakdown of all the new content a month ago or whatever. And the YouTube video was like 4 minutes long. Saw all the battle modes. I thought it was just going to be like Balloon Blast and, you know, some battle arenas. Well, was there 8 battle arenas, 5 battle modes, all online, offline. We learned more about the Switch. You got the wireless today. I'm on a picnic table outside. It's a beautiful day. It's a little hard to see with the reflective screen, but 2-on-2 battle mode, 2 switches, wireless play. I had my Pro Controller. This girl at work I gave her the sideways Joy-Con, and then the other guy who has the Switch, him and his buddy who got him the job there, they're playing with sideways Joy-Cons, and for 25 straight minutes, we're laughing and having a blast. I mean, that's reason enough to rebuy Mario Kart 8, but with this all new battle mode, the new carts are cool, but the new characters, the Inklings fit so perfectly in that game. And again, I want to pay $60 for this game. Paid 45. It was 42 something, 45 out the door with tax. It's a no-brainer. It has nothing to do. It doesn't make me a hypocrite because I said, all right, you know, one of these games is fine. I only had a problem with multiple games. The lineup of the Switch being padded by ports. We're not getting that. We're getting Splatoon 2. We're getting Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We're getting a brand new game in ARMS. Mario Odyssey. Who knows what else? Maybe Smash port. Maybe Smash 5. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Now, yeah, the indies and the third parties have kind of done what people were saying Nintendo was going to do with Fast RMX, with Minecraft, with Lego City, Binding of Isaac, you know, getting a lot of these indie games ported over. I didn't buy most of them. I bought Fast RMX because I love Fast Racing Neo and I want to support Shinin. That was the reason enough, but it's a great port. Custom controller options. I mean, so yeah, I got that. And the whole Zelda thing, I heard K-Bomb saying on trying to bring Zelda into this equation, like Zelda somehow another Wii U port situation. Yeah, if they would have released Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U in October, November 2016, and then, oh yeah, there's a Switch version fall of 2017, summer 2017, that would be a different story. They gave me the option. Do you want, if you can play it on Wii U day and date with the Switch version. You don't have to buy a Switch, but guess what? Because of Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, the unannounced, you know, Fire Emblem coming later on, all the other developers saying, "Yep, we're on board with the Switch." That's why I bought a Switch. I've said this over and over. I didn't buy the Switch to play Zelda. If that's all it had, I would have probably bought the Wii U version and been fine with it because I didn't think I was even going to play the Switch in portable mode much. Didn't really think I was going to utilize that feature. I was wrong. I'm glad I got the Switch, even if it was just for Zelda, but that wasn't why. Because of the first 9 months being littered with just a bunch of games, top tier, amazing. I don't know what they're going to do to follow up this year. You know, give us a Metroid, Bayonetta 3, Smash 5, you know, stuff like that. Another Donkey Kong, you know, that could really, year 2 could be better. I don't know, but year 1's looking awesome. And that's why, even if you criticize it, Nintendo fan, if you criticize Sony for the PS4's first year, you're free and clear. The Switch's first year destroys the first 2 years of the Xbox One and the PS4. It's not even as far as exclusives, a reason to buy that system only. Yeah, the PS4, Xbox One had all the third parties, every single one. The cross-gen games, they had them all. I think the Switch is going to start getting a lot of that. We'll see. 83. I would be shocked if some of these bigger games we don't get announcements here pretty soon with the Switch's sales doing what they're doing. But yeah, I don't think but just to get back to the main topic, it's not hypocrisy to buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe if you criticize Sony. It's not hypocrisy if you were someone like me and saying, I don't want a bunch of ports on the Switch that are Wii U. We didn't get that. It's a done deal. End of story. I don't know what the counter is to that. There's 5 or 6 brand new or sequels or brand new games exclusive to the Switch. A couple will be out within the first 6 months. We'll have a lot of these, and then the next 3 months after that, we'll have the rest. We don't even know January, February, March of 2018 is going to bring. That'll be the end of the first year. And it's like, how is that hypocrisy? I don't know. I don't think it is. If you think it is, I guess I ain't going to try to change your mind, but it's just like, yeah, Sony deserved the criticism for their first 2 years. Third parties. You got what? Saints Row, you had the Borderlands, you had the Batman Arkham games, now you have all the Resident Evil games from this 6th and 7th gen on the PS4. You have GTA, there was just so many. I can't even God of War 3, like I said. You had the Nathan Drake collection, which I like collections. I think that's cool. And then there were so many. You got Dark Souls 2 right before Dark Souls 3. There's so many. I can't even think of them all. I can't name them all, but I know I'm probably only halfway there with all the 7th gen ports that were put on, PS4, Xbox One. So to me, that criticism was deserving. And then PS4 this year, totally different story. Tons of games, exclusives, and getting back to Zelda, I forgot this point. If Zelda is a cross-gen multi-plat, basically Wii U and Switch. Persona 5 just came out, April something, a month ago, less than a month ago. What systems did that come out for? PS3, PS4. There's a difference between giving the fans of your last system or people that still have that haven't upgraded yet the game they were promised, and also giving it to the new, putting on the new system. To me, that's the best option. They should have did that with The Last of Us and some other games that came out kind of late on the 360 and PS3 era. And to me, they made the right decision, and it, didn't force you to buy a Switch to play Zelda. You could still play it on the Wii U, And the last thing, Mario Kart 8's going to be 3 years old in a couple weeks, and it just came out on the Switch. So it's right there on the fringe. It's still an old game, and I didn't really get into the new content. I got 300 hours in Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, and I've already put about 15 to 20 on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it still feels fresh. The battle mode tournaments feels like a completely different game. It feels like I'm playing like back in the Call of Duty heydays. It's just such a fun, fresh experience, that battle mode online with, the graphics of the Switch / Wii U graphics, and the best, the online isn't where it needs to be yet, but you know, obviously when we get the app and stuff, we'll judge it then. But it works. I've had a few communication errors, but I had to restart the Switch, and then I didn't have them anymore. But to have a battle mode, a proper battle mode, proper battle arenas with the new characters, and all the battle modes themselves that are unique and fun, that alone was worth the $45. But I'm still going through all the Grand Prix cups, getting the 3 stars. I'm still having a blast. Going through the 150cc right now. I already did 50 and 100. And, you know, I was getting second place because of the damn blue shells and red shells and lightnings. And then I was like, I got to pick my best class. I'm going to pick my best class, Rosalina, Sport Bike, Cyber Slicks, and didn't help. And I was like, man, I unlocked this yellow framed motor, like little mini bike. Looks like has like a work light headlight. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to put that on with the Mercedes tires I just unlocked. And I went 4 straight cups, just dominating first place with one of the slower carts in the game. And I'm watching the replays. I'm destroying blue shells with the super horn. I'm having fun, even playing the same tracks I've played forever, you know, besides just the new stuff. And, you know, over 1 million sold already. The online there's plenty of players to play against, and, you know, revitalized the game for a lot of people, plus people that didn't play it on Wii U. I just think this game, being one of the best multiplayer games Nintendo's ever made, right along with Smash 4, and being one of the best racing games, period, I've ever played. I know it's not arcade, it's not simulation, but it's just one of the most fun racing games I ever played. And yeah, I would have rather had Mario Kart 9. No, nothing will ever change that, but I'm having fun with the game. I paid $45 for it. I enjoy it. And yeah, so now, like I said, if this was alongside Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, Splatoon 1.5, Smash 4 Deluxe, Xenoblade Chronicles X Remastered, if it was somebody talking to me, are we? What the hell? Yeah, I have a Switch, I have a Wii U. I don't know if you're talking to me, but anyway, made me lose my train of thought. That's why I usually don't try to read the chat, because I always get distracted. Completely forgot where I was. So sorry about that. Maybe it'll come to me. But yeah, Mario Kart 8's a great game. And oh yeah, I was talking about how if it was all these other ports at the same time, you know, that would be a whole different story. If I wasn't looking forward to playing ARMS in a month, and then Splatoon 2, a sequel, which has this really cool looking horde mode, co-op horde mode, and who knows what else there's going to be new. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We've barely seen anything on this game. They keep saying 2017. It has the battle system of the Xenoblade Chronicles series, and, you know, great new settings, which already looks pretty cool. I'm in. Mario Odyssey. All this stuff. Fire Emblem Warriors. Even though I'm a little worried about some DLC. Take the Fire Emblem DLC practices and the Koei Tecmo, combine them. I don't know if I'm too excited about that. I have a feeling there's going to be an expensive season pass, and they're going to be holding characters. I'm a little worried about that one, but take all those games. Yeah, you add a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to those, fine. But replace all those other games with more ports, and you're looking at a totally different Terminator Juice. Juice Opinions would be ranting, would be hating on Nintendo if that's what we had got. I would have been so disappointed if that's how first year was looking. It isn't. You know, even Ultra Street Fighter 2. Yeah, it's another Street Fighter version of Street Fighter 2. Yeah, you could have, you know, there's these ones on 360 and, you know, PC, you can play them. I haven't played a Street Fighter 2 game since the Super NES. So, I mean, I'm in a different situation than probably a lot of people. I'm not super diehard into all the fighters. I do I've always liked the Street Fighter 2 mechanics, and that was always my favorite one. I had Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Didn't get into Super Street Fighter 2 as much, but looking forward to Ultra Street Fighter 2. Getting that for $28, picking up out the door price. Looking forward to that. And then some other indie games and stuff which look cool. Like I had, Snake Pass gave me some good enjoyment. Fast Arm X, which I still want to play more of, and it's like Zelda finally winding down. This today might be the first day I don't play it since it came out 61 days later. Still might I might just get in there just real quick. There's still want to upgrade the climbing gear. I need some Swift Violet. I need to farm quite a few of those. I think about 23 or something, 22. But anyway, I'm just enjoying the Switch. Like I said, playing wireless 2-on-2 today with 2 switches on a picnic table, and just had a blast. Handed the Joy-Cons. What do they say? Share the joy. And it was just fun. And, just enjoying it. And I feel sorry for, like I said in the last podcast, which didn't get into as much. I'll probably talk about this more next week. Like, I feel sorry for like the Xbox fan base. I think they deserve better. I thought Phil Spencer was the right guy. I'm not so sure now. Maybe the powers that be were pushing Windows 10 down his throat and he didn't have a choice, but I don't know. If I was just an Xbox guy, I don't know what I'd be feeling right now. The games don't look that great. They already put out their heavy hitters. They didn't make much of an impact. The Halo series is not at its peak. It's not just from, no one really talked about Halo 5. Halo 4 people liked, but they milked their series. It's just a fact. I was going to talk about that last week. That was one of the things, if you watch the podcast, I forgot what I was going to say. Well, that was what it was going to be. They milked the Forza series to death. There's already been more Forza games than Mario Kart 8 games. The first Forza game came out in 2005. The first Mario Kart game came out in 1994. Think about that. There's already been more Halo games than Metroid game. It's crazy. And what can they do? I don't know. We'll talk about that probably on the podcast when we try to do our E3 predictions for Microsoft. I mean, there's no diehard Microsoft fans on the podcast. It's probably going to be a little bit more critical. Maybe they got a bunch of surprises. Maybe they'll prove us all wrong. But I'm just worried that I don't know what they're going to do if they're just going to move away from home consoles and try to get into the PC thing. Who knows? But whatever. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Got a Japanese person in here. What's up? That's cool. If you're in Japan right now, a place I always want to go. I don't know if I ever will make it there, but I really want to. Who knows? I don't know any Japanese other than arigato and domo, and what's the other one? There's arigatos, thank you, and then there's one for hello, but konnichiwa. I know those 3 words, so I need to learn a little bit more. I'd love to go there someday. We'll see. But anyway, we'll just talk about Xbox probably. I don't know if it'll be next podcast, maybe the one after that. We got to start talking about E3 here pretty soon. And I don't know what they're going to do. I'm glad I didn't invest in the Xbox One. There's just no reason to have one, in my opinion. I got a PC. My graphics card is already, way down on the list, the R9 390, but it still can do some pretty good, visuals and stuff. But I just haven't even been interested in buying anything on there. The Windows 10 store stuff, like no one plays those games. The install base on the Windows 10 games is ridiculous for like online games. It's so small. Microsoft just needs to figure out how to partner up with Steam and still charge people for Xbox Live and go that route. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to get out of here. Let me know what you think. I guess maybe if somebody is just still harping on Sony for ports and buys ports, that makes you a hypocrite. But somebody who is harping on Sony for not having a great first year lineup and then also having ports, and then buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I don't think that makes you a hypocrite. So let me know in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, but I'm going to go play some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'd rather be playing that game than talking about it or trying to defend myself about it, buying it. It's a great game. It always was a great game. It's even better now. And yeah, if you want to, I might be online. I'm going to try another tournament tomorrow. I had a pretty bad turnout last week. Well, half the people I know didn't even get it on Friday because of Amazon. So that's, you know, sucks for them. Best Buy Gamers Club all day. But yeah, I'm gonna try another tournament. I don't know if the time change thing is still affecting it because I set it for 8 and it goes at 8 o'clock and it doesn't start. Well, you got to set it for an hour earlier. I don't know if that's still happening. I'm gonna do battle mode again, and it's gonna be no teams. So I want to see how that goes. And yeah, I'm definitely a Nintendo fanboy, no doubt about it. But like I said, you wouldn't have a happy fanboy right now if it was Splatoon remastered, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Smash 4 Deluxe, 3D World remastered, Xenoblade Chronicles X remastered, Mario Maker, Switch Deluxe, whatever. You wouldn't have, this wouldn't be a happy fanboy right now. So anyway, thanks. And thoughts on Hey Pikmin? Looks cool. I'm done with my 3DS. I'm not buying any other games for it. The last two I bought, while I did like Metroid Prime Federation Force when had me and Robert played it, but playing with randoms and playing by yourself, just that game shouldn't have been a co-op. If that had a co-op option and then a story, would have been great. Kirby Planet Robobot. I'm done with the Kirby games. I'll tell you that right now. I am absolutely done with Kirby games. Other than Rainbow Curse, which is the best Kirby game I've ever played. It's the only hard one I've ever played. The last two 3DS games didn't do anything for me. And I just don't want to go back to that, the hand cramps and that little screen, even though I have the XL. I just never really loved my 3DS. I just, even though I upgraded for $30, I upgraded to the new 3DS. I bought it because I wanted to play Link Between Worlds. I wanted to play Super Mario Land. I wanted to play, I thought at the time, Mario Kart 7, which I only had about 15 hours in that game. Didn't love it. Love the DS version. The DS version crushes Mario Kart 7, in my opinion, for the time that it came out. And Luigi's Mansion 2, you know, I bought the 3DS for the exclusives, and I only own Nintendo first-party exclusives on the 3DS, which is crazy. I'm thinking about selling my 3DS. I have no real interest in ever turning it on again, to be honest with you. So, Hey Pikmin looks cool. I like Pikmin in a 2D, and the two screens actually looks like it's utilized pretty well. I won't say never. I won't say I won't ever get it, but I'm not planning on it, and I'm not planning on ever buying another 3DS game, and I might not even have a 3DS by the end of this year. I don't know. I've never kept a Nintendo handheld. I keep the games. I've never kept the handheld. So I don't know why that is. It's just, you know, I can still play my DS games on the 3DS, so maybe I'll just keep this one. I don't know what they're going to do next, but they always had backwards compatibility, so I always just bought the next one, and next thing I know, I'm Game Boy Advance games I can't play because the DS had backwards compatibility for Game Boy Advance, but not the 3DS. So anyway, that's going to be it. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I always kind of make these last minute. Depends on when I get out of work and how hungry I am, what time I want to start them. And I thought this was only like 20 some minutes, but it's been almost 40 again. I can't, I just can't get things out quick. I can't, I just talk too much, I guess. So, what's up, R Wing Attack? Robert Rule 2, yeah, and we got an announcement. Robert Rule 2 is going to make an announcement on the next. Actually, he won't be on the next podcast. We still might make the announcement, so tune in next week. If you love Robert Rule 2 from Rule of 2, it's not going to be the best news you know, if you're listening to the podcast. But we'll talk about that on Monday, and who knows what else. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the hypocrisy. Maybe we'll talk about Microsoft. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.